on West Bremer Radio. We're pumping along here at 8:11, 8:12, and we're going to cross to the West Australia.
Yes, we are.
There's a bloke over there called Harold the H. Peacockadoodle-doo. He, 127 years ago, an Ipswich family claimed a real unique piece of history. This is very interesting considering today's Queensland Day, and I think we've been going for 167.
Right.
So let's talk to our intrepid reporter, researcher, Harold Peacock.
Yeah, good morning, Danny. Look, just before I get going, a big shout-out to a listener, Wendy. It's her birthday today, so happy birthday, Wendy, on the Queensland Day.
Oh, Wendy, happy birthday, Wendy. Where does Wendy live?
Wendy is a big, famous person at Muddy Creek in Victoria. You've got followers around the world.
In Victoria?
Yes, that's right. In fact, probably all of Muddy Creek are listening now. There's not too many of them, but they're all online, I'm sure.
I used to be number one in Marmar Creek, and there's only about 3. Plus the shop.
But you used to. I think the internet dropped out there, and there was a problem. But you're number one with me, Danny, because I'll come here to Kalgoorlie in West Australia for this big Ipswich story. And it is, you're right, it is a good Queensland story over here in WA for Queensland Day.
Take it away.
Yeah, and like you say, it was 127 years ago. The Ipswich family made that claim on history. Now, and I'm actually calling live from Kalgoorlie on the balcony of the 1897 Palace Hotel, which is where Herbert Hoover lived. But I'm staying here for a little while, but it's too cold outside and dark, so I'm here at the hotel. Now,
is it cold?
The Ipswich family. Yeah, it's about 6 degrees.
Wow.
And there's a bit of noise in the background. They've got all the street cleaners and stuff there. They just don't stop working over here, the miners. Anyway, this Ipswich family. Now, one of the brothers I want to tell you about died here in Kalgoorlie in 1899, and he's the one that established a really special connection to the football ground.
Well, we're looking at where you're staying on the net.
Yes. That's right. Well, I won't be there live. They're probably just still pictures, but that's it, Herbert Hoover's place. That's where I am. I'm up on the balcony. You can hear the trucks going by. These guys never stop working. But anyway, this James Patrick Ritchie, that's the brother I want to tell you about. He was born in Ipswich in 1875. Now, his father, George Ritchie, he was born in Arbroath in Scotland. He was a labourer for the Ipswich City Council, and the family lived at Wood End for 36 years. Now, the end came for George when returning soldiers from the First World War brought home the Spanish flu, which killed him. But I'll tell you about his son, James, or probably Jim Ritchie, as everyone would have known him, because he worked as a compositor for the Ipswich Advocate newspaper. In 1897, after the death of his brother, George Jr. from Colic, Jim wanted to change, and so he was just 20 years old when he joined the West Australian Gold Rush and came here to Kalgoorlie. Now, Jim was quite an athlete, again, very much like you, Danny, and while working as a miner, he also became a prominent sportsman, and he won a number of big races, and he was a star outside back, known for his dashing play for the Boulder Pirates Rugby Football Club. And he was reliable too because he also became the club secretary. So he's a heart and soul of rugby at the Boulder Pirates here at Kalgoorlie. Now, his brother Henry, he actually would later win a premiership in Ipswich with the Wanderers Club. But
the Wanderers? Was that the Wanderers?
The Wanderers, yeah, in Ipswich. There was Henry. Henry won that. But Jim here with the Boulder Pirates. Now, the Boulder Pirates was a top team in the Goldfields where, as you can imagine, strong play was the norm, just like in Ipswich. Now, here at one stage, the Pirates were called out for insulting the referee, which is not on, but also for using the innovative tactic of when going out of bounds of throwing the ball into opponents' faces in order to get the throw-in. Now, you've never done that.
Never.
Now,
squirrel gripping,
the reason that Jim went west was to work in the gold mines, and that he did in the Great Boulder Mine. That was the name of it. Now, Kalgoorlie Boulder Goldfields, they're the richest goldfields in Australian history, but they're also the most dangerous. More than 1,400 miners have been killed here since the 1890s gold rush began.
Wow.
So, Danny, you know what I'm going to tell you now. Sadness struck in May 1899 when back in Ipswich, George Ritchie, the father, he received a telegram saying that Jim had fallen down one of the shafts of the Great Boulder Mine.
Not down the shaft.
But the shaft didn't kill him, Danny. The fall did not kill Jim outright because he lingered for months before succumbing in Kalgoorlie Hospital on the 10th of September 1899. Now, that was awful news for the Ritchie family in Ipswich, but it was even worse for the Boulder Pirates because the death of the 23-year-old star outside back came on the morning of the grand final.
Wow.
Now, the game was to be played at the Kalgoorlie Recreation Ground, now known as Sir Richard Moore Oval. Now, this was already a well-known venue because just 2 years earlier, it had actually hosted a really unusual cricket match in which an Australian cricket 11 prepared for the upcoming Ashes tour. Now, they played on a concrete wicket covered with matting. The outfield was gravel, and 5 of the team were either past or future Australian captains. Anyway, the death of Jim came too late to postpone the grand final. So the match went ahead with both teams wearing black armbands.
Right.
Now, Jim's Boulder Pirates, they were fired up and favoured to beat Bulong, and the teams battled manfully to the end. However, neither side scored a single point. They didn't have golden point back then, which is ironic here in the Goldfields. So the match finished in a 0-0 draw, and they had to come back for a replay in 2 weeks' time. And so it was on the Kalgoorlie Recreation Ground on Sunday the 24th of September 1899. The Pirates and Bulong played again in Jim's honour in front of a crowd of over 700 people, which was pretty good back then. Now, I'm sorry to say, Danny, that Bulong won the match to claim the proud title of Premiers of the Goldfields in 1899. So it wasn't a fairy tale finish, but it was a classic season of rugby in Kalgoorlie, inspired by Ipswich's own Jim Ritchie, with not one but 2 grand finals being played on gravel in Jim's honour, which is something that no other Australian, not even you, can claim.
Mate, are those clubs still existing?
Well, rugby's still strong over here, so the clubs are still here. I think the Pirates, their ship might have sunk at some stage, but Jim's memory lives on.
Isn't that a great story? And rugby was big in the early 1900s. And then Aussie rules evolved from rugby. People don't want to hear that, but that's a fact.
Well, it was especially strong over here because a lot of Ipswich miners were coming over, of course. So wherever the big, tough miners were, that's where rugby was.
Now, where can we hear this story? Because you've got so many great stories about Ipswich. Tell us how.
Yeah, you can find history out on all the socials. That's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, or you can go to my website, historyouthere.com. I'll post this story tomorrow morning and also get some photos from the ground where Jim was commemorated 127 years ago. I'll post them online as well.
That'll be interesting. And look, you can have increase the meal for you to $100.
Oh, the meal allowance?
Yeah, meal allowance.
Oh, thank you.
So, you're over there.
That's good.
And don't get too cold.
No, I won't. Well, I might have blown the meal allowance on buying some extra blankets. I hope that's okay. But
no, that'll be right. We don't mind.
Yeah.
And Wendy, happy birthday. Or she loves the show, doesn't she?
Oh, the whole of Muddy Creek. Happy birthday, Wendy. And thanks for following us, Muddy Creek. We love you all.
It is now 8:21.